Hi everyone, I'm actually doing the thing that I said that I probably wouldn't do. I was like, oh, should I record during the weekend for these longer videos? Should I, what should I do? And I did the other thing that I said I might do, or that was less likely, which is waking up before it's time for work, so I'm up early to record this, because, I feel like doing it today, and I know I'll be too tired after work, and this is gonna help me wake up faster than coffee anyways, so I'm already more awake than I usually am later in the day when it's time to wake up for work. But that aside, let's go. It's time for 49, just one issue away from the big 50. But yeah, let's go. This cover. Someone out there knows full well that some people, like me, find Belle creepy and they're using it to their full advantage here. I do like the way it's drawn and shaded, but that's creepy! The friendly Motobug now has a name, Motobud. It's very cute and very appropriate, but it seems like they're using whatever's going on with it to basically infect other badniks with friendliness or just friendship. And it works. The badniks aren't interested in attacking Sonic at all. I love the way he's drawn here also, and how he's like, I sure hope no badniks try to sneak up on me. I love him. Alright, so this whole thing isn't just about keeping themselves safe from badniks. Belle sees it as saving the robots from Eggman. Though I have to wonder, are these just the robots? Like these friendly ones, are they just the robots? Like the outer shell, I guess? Or are there still little animals in them? Because don't they need those as batteries? I mean, we haven't moved away from that. We saw animals are still in them in Sonic Lost World. That's been kind of a staple, but I guess if Tails had these as scrap around the place, I guess he would have replaced the way that they're powered. They discuss the recent events, aka the forest fire and the chaos in the city, and how it doesn't really seem like Eggman's MO, but Sonic isn't worried about it. If it's Eggman, he'll just stop him. And I love the little joke about how chili dogs aren't all Sonic eats, but he'll eat some for dessert anyway. And we get this cute little panel with Belle and Motobud. Though given the cover of this issue, I fear this piece won't last long. And there we go. Later that same day, Sonic gets woken up by a scratching noise. It's Motobud, and it's scratching at the door with its little claws. So much so that there's indents in it. And it seems whatever was hinted at on all these covers is beginning. Sonic tries to get Motobud to step away from the door, but he turns and swipes at him. And his little flower antenna falls out when it does that. And it slashes at the couch Sonic is standing on, and the commotion wakes Tails up. And basically I chose this panel just to show you his face because it's great. Taking a bit of a detour from the story, because on the same panel we have some little cameos on Tails' shelves. There's a little Dalek, and there's Astro Boy, and this robot from Sonic the comic, Fleetway Sonic. Well, not Fleetway Sonic, I mean that comic, I know people refer to the super form from that comic as Fleetway Sonic, but I haven't read much of Sonic the comic, and what little I read was years ago, so I don't really remember much of it. However, I remember this robot. It was gold, and I remember it digging through some ruins as Knuckles came upon it. And it's just that page. I don't even remember any context or anything. It's just that page is forever sealed into my brain for some reason. Sometimes I even forget it's from Sonic the Comic and not Archie Sonic, but like, I do remember it. And lastly, the star of these cameos, honestly, Mettaton. Undertale is canon to IDW Sonic. I'm like, half joking. But it is fun to imagine that Tails has played Undertale in his free time and that he thought Mettaton was a cool robot and got a figurine of him. But anyway, that's it for this rambly detour from the story. There's more cameos on here, but these are all the ones I recognize. Getting back to the story, Belle also comes out, in a trance, wanting to be out of the house. Whatever got to Motobud seems to have her under its spell too. From seeing the state Belle is in, Tails know that what's happening and that her and Motobud are under somebody's control. He pleads with her to snap out of it, but of course it doesn't work. Else we'd like have no story, I think. She does try to hit Tails after this, but Sonic blocks the blow. Tails goes to try and figure out if he can fix this, while Sonic buys him some time. And Belle is fighting him, and she's even using her little kicking action against him. And when she activates it, she has her head on backwards. Oh, they're just fully using the fact that puppets are creepy here. Though Sonic does figure that it's either Eggman or Starline that's doing this. Given Starline's plotting in Imposter Syndrome, my money's on him. Motobud teams up with Belle and she freaking tries to get Sonic with an X-Acto knife. He avoids it thankfully because those things are freaking sharp. All of Belle's once helpful tools are now weapons that she's gonna use with no hesitation if she wants to. Well, not if she wants to, if you know, yeah, kind of if she wants to, because whatever is controlling her is telling her to get out of the house. So she wants to get out of the house, and she's gonna attack the people that get in her way. I'm low-key feeling vindicated for being unnerved by Belle. Like, yeah, this isn't her fault, but it's still very creepy. Tails comes back with one of the Zeddy zappers he has left over and uses it on Belle. Since they could stop any signals from being sent out by the Zeddy, they can also stop any signals from coming in. Belle is back to normal, but she's had enough of Eggman. I still wonder if it is Eggman though. Like, we know Starline took over a base he could be using, he could be using the beacon from it to summon badniks. He did, go on about how, the ping from the tower that's in that base is super strong and super good and stuff. And I think that the pink purple eye glow that the possessed robots are getting might be an indication that it's him, since those are kinda his colors. Belle isn't sure where the signal is amassing this army of robots. The coordinates are already starting to fade from her mind, but they do still have Motobud, who's still under the signal's control. So they kind of just let it loose and follow it. I still worry that something might happen to Motobud, like that little panel from earlier, the cute one with Belle relaxing with it. It might end up like those happy moments in movies before something awful happens. They come upon some farmer people that are in the way of the robots following the signal, and one of them is kind of panicking. Sonic gets them out of the way and briefly explains the situation to them, and I think he instructs them to go to Tails' house, maybe? Our trio continues to follow the badniks and Motobud, and they say that they've been following them for hours. Wow, and that's with Sonic and Tails kind of being speedy, because Sonic is carrying Belle, so even with that they're following them for hours. And Sonic notes that there should only be woods here, so Tails flies out above the trees and sees Eggman's base with a freaking Tesla coil of a signal tower. I think this is the base Starline took over. I do like how colorful it is, and how all these details through it make it look like some kind of circuit board. Just a very gigantic one. It's so huge, in fact, that Tails calls it a city in the next panel. They want to stop Motobud from going forward now that they know where it's headed, and it's fair. It could easily be lost among the many other badniks headed for that huge base, and if it gets deployed with them, someone else that has no idea it's actually a good badnik could end up destroying it, which is what Sonic wants to avoid, since that's the one way he knows how to stop Motobugs, so he doesn't want to do that. Belle considers giving it the Zeddy Zapper, but then she'd fall under the signal's control again. And since Belle studied Motobud, she's gonna try and switch it off, and hopefully that won't destroy it. They get surrounded by a bunch of egg robos, oh my god, and badniks, as Belle is trying to turn off Motobud. And she needs to do it fast due to the situation, so after this adorable, reassuring smile from Tails, she goes through with it. As soon as she switches it off, the robots back off and go back to their task of going to the giant base. I guess since Motobud was being tampered with, that got their attention, like maybe it let out, an unheard, unseen distress signal, but once it got turned off, they didn't care anymore. They just walk away. However, since Belle had Motobud opened up, she does find this scrap of paper in it. It's a letter by Mr. Tinker. He wrote it for Belle while he was captured by Starline and the Skunk Bros. And Motobud is actually one of the badniks he fixed. I guess as Starline tried to remind him he's Eggman before he went with shock therapy. He writes on about how he hates the thought that he might be Eggman and how proud he is of Belle. And basically he knows that he's not coming back from this, from being captured. And this is how it ends. An apology and a goodbye to Belle, and an apology to the world. Before Mr. Tinker is gone forever, this letter is literally the last scrap of him, other than Motobug. That's kind of like his tiny little legacy along with Belle. I did not expect this issue to punch me in the heart like it did. I expected the creepiness with Belle pretty much being possessed. I was afraid something worse would happen to Motobud, but I did not expect us to get anything like this. A goodbye letter from Tinker, coupled with the knowledge that he does get turned back into Eggman. Like, ow, my heart, like, I wanna... It's a tearjerker, but I'm not, like, gonna cry, in a video, so let's go. Belle accepts that her dad is gone, and thinks she's stupid to think she could have made a difference. And I do like how in that first panel, Sonic is turned away from the two of them like that. Like, clearly feeling for the situation, but not letting anybody see it. And I think it does hit him a bit that Mr. Tinker is basically somebody he couldn't save, even though he tried. My voice cracked, but let's proceed. She lets the letter float away in the wind from, like, her hands, but Sonic takes it and gives it back to her. He gives her this cute little speech that I think is so very Sonic, about finding the good between the bad and moving forward together, and I love it. Belle says she wants to keep going rather than turning back, and Sonic grabs her and Tails and zooms forward towards the city base thing. There's all these little specks that at first I was like, oh, they're like that one Jack Kirby effect. But then I realized that it's actually all those robots going towards the base. There's so many of them, and the bit about the next issue does tell us badniks, more badniks, Dr. Eggman, Dr. Starline, Surge, Kit, and more. There's so much. Next issue is the long-awaited issue number 50, and I can't wait to see what happens. Like, issue number 50, finally, like, they've been building up towards it with the Imposter Syndrome miniseries, and the past, like, what, 5 issues of the main comic? maybe more. I'm really bad with like keeping up with numbers about what started when, but yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. I think that we're gonna get some showdowns like we see on the joint covers of Imposter Syndrome, because it shows, you know, like Sonic versus Surge and Kit versus Tails, and it shows Eggman versus Starline, and there's also Metal Sonic on it. I actually don't know what the 4th issue cover looks like, or I can't remember at the moment, but there's Metal Sonic, and I really hope that Metal Sonic gets to meet Belle, because I've said before, they're kind of opposites, you know? Like, Metal Sonic is this machine that we saw really wants to be the real Sonic. We saw in the annual with him, like, clearly being kind of, like, upset that when he dips his finger in the metal virus, it doesn't infect him like it does Sonic, and that's, at the end of the day, Sonic is the real thing, because he's made of, you know, flesh and blood. Well, metal is just metal. And Belle is also a robot, completely not flesh and blood, but she's much closer to being like a person than Metal is. Like, she even looks more like a real person than any other robot that we've seen. And she's all like friendly, and you know, people like her, but there's other robots that are friendly and people like them. She just like looks the more like a person, except for the fact that she's clearly made out of wood. But yeah, that'll be it for this issue. Wow, I have so much time now because I got up early, so I'm like, what am I gonna do? But yeah, I can't wait for it. Oh, the joint cover thing reminded me, I've actually found Imposter Syndrome 2. I think it's 2. Yeah, I found Imposter Syndrome 2 in a comic book store here, and that's like unprecedented. Like, it was already unprecedented that I was finding physical copies. As of the start of this year, there were like the volumes that are several stories of an arc in one book, because we've never gotten Sonic comics here, physical ones. And then I found Imposter Syndrome number 2, so it's like fairly recent, and we've never gotten like single issue Sonic comics. They're like coming out, you know, as they're coming out here, and I'm very excited. This is really the year of Sonic. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. It's issue 50, it's always a milestone issue in comics, and I think it's definitely gonna be better than issue 50 in the Archie comics. Like, I'm sorry, not to bring up Endgame, but it had cool moments, but those cool moments were surrounded by garbage. But now we're doing better, and like there's interesting stories in these books, even though we're early on in the book. Well, we're not that early on, because now we're getting to issue 50. But yeah, I'm excited with what's gonna happen. But yeah, those are my comic rambles. Hope you enjoyed them, and see you when I see ya. Bye bye.